Hello, everyone. Welcome to Padawan Unlimited, a Star Wars Unlimited trading card game podcast and YouTube channel. Today, I am joined by Rob and Corey, two men that I joined. Not joined. I was gonna say something epic, like met in the wilderness and then over smooth cars, but nah, we met at a card shop.
We actually did. Wait, we did actually meet in the wilderness over swoop. Well, we didn't meet there, but we did actually. One of our first swoop games was in the wilderness.
Oh, that's true.
Playing.
Yeah, we were camping. Rob and I were like playing. We were like, oh, let's play some games.
Let's play some games in the middle of the woods.
Oh my god, that's how hardcore we are. So, welcome to this episode. Remember, like, subscribe, tell your friends. It really helps the channel, and it's nice that we got an honorable mention on Reddit. I guess, Rob, you just mentioned.
Yeah. We're officially in the Reddit annals now. Somebody was asking for recommendations on YouTube, and we got listed as an honorable mention for
nice.
some content to check out.
That's nice.
So we're Reddit famous, baby.
Appreciate that, Reddit user.
Yeah, appreciate you. And honestly, just thank you to everyone who supports us. This again, I say it every week because I really mean it. Like, this channel, this podcast was just like me and like two people like listening to it. One of them being me. So
the other one being Sam.
So to get to Sam. So to get to the point where we're at like 400, almost 400 subs for YouTube, where we get.
We got to 400.
We're over 400.
Someone dropped today, so we're at 399. It's
dude.
one step forward.
You, Mr. 400.
I know. We're trying to give. All it is, we're trying to give stuff away. So that's whatever. But now we have a couple hundred people listening to us, actually the podcast, like on the podcast, which is pretty cool. Which, by the way, some change that happened since last week. Some logistics. We are able to monetize now on the not a lot because it's a podcast, but we are able to get a couple bucks for every episode for people who listen, do the ads. We are still working on the filtering. There's just a lot of things to filter out. And then also, so if you are hearing ads in the beginning and the end, I'm not doing ads in the middle. I think that's annoying as heck. So I'm not going to do that to the listeners, but, it helps support us. If you have feelings about that, let us know in whatever comments. Send me an email at gil@padawanunlimited.com, and we'll see what we could do. It's just one of those things. People who listen to us, but if you're new, like, we actually do give a lot of stuff away for free, and we don't really ever charge. And all the money we ever get really just goes back to this podcast and or the community. Like, I can't tell you how much money I've spent on shipping cards to people. So it does help us in that sense, so that we can be generous with you, since you are generous with your time. Last couple other logistical stuff. Go back to episode 59 if you want to tune in to listen. If you tune in and listen to episode 59, there is a raffle for a showcase, which was donated by our friend Tetra at the Boston Network. It is a Poe Dameron showcase. Really pretty. Do I have it here?
Yeah, and actually, we opened one on a stream.
Oh yeah, we did open one on stream. Yeah, so
that was Corey's. That was my call on the pack.
Yep.
And your rip.
Yeah, that was wild. Cool. So we can do that. I think for this episode, one thing I want to give away also is I'm gonna do another separate raffle. It's gonna be like a month of giveaways, and then the next month is gonna be like giving it like who the winners. Mm-hmm. But I have a Galactic Championship VIP pin, black VIP pin, that we're gonna give away. So it's still in the original plastic. We'll give this away. You'll also probably get our Padawan Unlimited swag with this as well. So we'll have a raffle form for this. So if you want a pin, these pins are actually really nice. They're like nice and hefty.
Pretty hefty, yeah.
Feel free.
They're pretty big.
Yeah, they are pretty big. Feel free to grab that, and you get I always like to add surprises, so you'll probably get some cards as well. So don't be surprised if that's something else in the package. Okay, speaking of cards, let's go on to the segment section. Corey, what do you got for us?
Yeah. Well, actually, I was able to obtain a new showcase. I got the Elspeth showcase, which feels bad that it's like $30. Like, showcases shouldn't be $30. I don't know what it is, but I got.
It's that
I
she's
was
not
like, I'm
good.
gonna get a
That's what
carbonite
it
pack.
is.
Well, yeah, yes, but yeah, I got a carbonite pack and yeah, pulled the Elspeth showcase. So that's my new addition to the collection this week.
So why do you
But
think the showcases are so cheap now? I mean, I have my perceptions, but like, why
well,
do you think it's so
it's
cheap?
the availability of them, right?
Yeah, the
They're
carbs.
so much easier to obtain now. There are showcases that are still holding a lot of value. Like the Revan showcase is still still over $200,
Yep.
right? But a lot of these other showcases, the ones that are not as playable, like Elspeth right now, just aren't as valued because they are abundant, unfortunately, with
Because of the
the
carbonite
carbonite
boxes?
packs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's exactly the reson why.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. Like supply demand, the more supply you have,
Mhm.
there's probably less demand. And also,
Well, yeah, and like I was gonna say, like in set one, you got a showcase every two cases, maybe, or
Mhm.
if that. So it was so much harder, and so even cards like Hera were going for $300, and that leader was not playable. So
yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of set one, leaders, I got a
Mm.
showcase as well. It is Emperor Palpatine.
Oh, you finally got your palp.
I got a Emperor Palpatine
Nice.
showcase. This was actually a trade with one of our listeners. So just know that I'm very happy. Thank you so much. By the way, appreciate the trade.
You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are. I'm not gonna out that person if they don't want to be outed. But at the end of the day, like in our Discord, we have our trade space and everything like that. And I love trading. I would rather trade than like spend
Mhm.
money on cards. So like it's really cool that we have people willing on our Discord to actually execute trades, right? Or a mixture of cash and cards, even no matter where you are in the world. So that's how I got this Emperor Palpatine. It was a mixture of cash, and I actually gave him like a fat stack of like cards he was missing, like thick, like 60 different cards, like rares and some legendaries and stuff in there as well. So it was quite a fantastical trade. But you know, I want to get all the set one showcases, so I'm happy about Emperor Palpatine.
Nice.
Is a good get. I'm
And yeah, he's a gorgeous. He's a gorgeous.
One of
Still
the-
playable.
yeah, and one of the
Yep.
most beautiful like top 3, top 5 showcases in terms
Agreed.
of like just looking now, even now, it's just
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I got my palp showcase not that long ago, maybe less than 6 months ago, and like I remember looking at the card and just being like, wow, like it is just one of those ones that like the different levels of foiling, the way that it shows up, it's a really really good looking card at the end of the day.
yeah,
Um,
I also another thing for me, I don't know about you guys. So I'm really getting into because the serialized cards are kind of cheap. Well, not cheap, but like there's a lot of access to them. I've really been trying to get them. I also got old DACA 107
Oh, nice.
serialized card. This was also a trade with one of our listeners.
so you got dueling DACAs now.
Yeah, I got the DACA Showcase 107. It was a lot of my tickets for Galactics went to get another Vader showcase for one of our listeners and friend, and we did a trade. Again, I love it. I don't need the cash. I would love the cards. So, and this is what it's all about. This is fun. Like even in Galactics, I don't know about you guys, but like people are like, I know I was like trading cards. I'm like, you want that? I want this Galactic card. Like, let's just do it. You know, it was just really fun to just do. It's part of
No,
the.
that was cool. Like when we got the silver packs, people were opening them right then and there, and like pulling out their their binders, and it's like, oh, what would you get? What'd you get? And that's cool to see for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I was very sad because the Vaders were popping all around me except for me. I couldn't.
I think there's like 3 Vaders open right next to you at one
no,
point.
literally right next to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
it just
So, which also, funnily enough, so people packs opening up next to you. During the Galactics, they were giving like jump to light speed Pop Tart packs, like candy out there, and in our pods, you know,
nobody hit it. Nobody hit a Sean. Nobody.
me and Rob, like we were like playing with some guys, and they were looking for Han Solo. Yeah, they opened up all their packs, didn't get any. I finally opened all my packs today.
How many did you get?
I got 3.
Are you kidding me?
I got 3,
You're
and
the one who had them all.
and one
You
of
had
them,
'em all.
I know I had them all, and one of them was a hollow or a foiled one.
wow.
So it's like, great. So I felt so bad. I was like, oh, so I've been the one who's hoarding all these Han Solos. Which at the end of the day, I'll probably end up giving it away anyway. So,
Mhm.
Oh, collection. Anything else,
Yeah.
Corey? Did you? Oh, wait. Are
Not
you
for
gonna?
me.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna see what Rob had. He had
I was gonna
something.
say I have one new ad, and I'll talk about him, but it's this bad boy,
Admiral
Mister
Trench.
Mister Trunch.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, I'm hedging on him for set six, so I think he'll be very interesting with all the plot cards. So, made a snatch on him while he was still only about like $40, and
He's like 80 now or
he's
something, right?
he's pushing 100 now. So,
Are you
Ooh,
serious?
look at that.
yep, yep,
Ugh. Ugh. All right. Well.
yep, yeah. I saw him low, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna
Nag
do
that.
this.
Nice.
Yep.
So
Good call.
yeah, very good call.
I don't know if he's actually going to be any good, but getting in before the rush on him. So
Yeah, it could have told the listeners last. Well, we didn't know. We didn't know about it last week.
I
But
did, I hinted at it. I had an idea of someone who might have legs.
Yeah.
I got
wow,
puns.
wow, what a deep cut.
hmm
There
Okay.
you go.
I
Anyway,
would say, like, as far as the market goes, like, because it's been moving up for certain cards, and after
Mhm.
Galactics, obviously, saw spikes. Lom Pike was a card that spiked like gigantic, like 350% it went up. Just the normal one, not like a hyperspace or anything. It was like a $3 card, and now it's like a $13 card.
He's good still.
Yeah.
I mean, he was good. He was good then. Like back then, people just didn't have the utility for him. I mean, he was good in Kira, and that was kind of it. And then now, because of Vader, I think that it keeps Vader live longer because you're dropping shields on your opponent.
yeah, I did see that Long Pike. Who knew? Well, we did actually talk about that. I think
We did talk about it.
couple episodes ago. All right. Collection. There's a lot. There's a lot to collect. Oh man, there's just. I need more money in my life. To be.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Don't we all?
But if you're interested in like learning more about the serialized card prices, I did drop a video about that just the other day. I think I forget if it was Tuesday or something like that. I'm always collecting data points to be able to provide accurate analysis and pricing for people who are invested or trying to invest, at least for serialized cards. So they have a starting point because it's always tough to like generate that information. I did find it fascinating that Jump to Lightspeed's been pretty stable in terms of like the average sale price went down to 370 from 391, but that's only 5% decrease within a month and a half since my last video. So
Really good, yeah.
not bad considering there was a huge flood of new cards that came in. And Legends of the Force showcases serialized cards. Some of them are just really low, like Priestesses of the Force. It's like $97 for a serialized card, which is fine. I mean, no one really knows those cards anyway. But like the Anakins, the Maliks, like those type of cards are like prices are really high. So $650, $400. So you could still make money. If you off the box, just not more not as many hits. But
Yeah, I feel like the ones with the halos are probably worth the most in those sets.
people are trying to sell the Yodas really high. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
really happened. I haven't seen anyone actually like buy them.
Purchase.
Yeah, but I did procure. I am procuring another serialized card because it was just too good to me, too good of value. But we'll reveal that once I get it. I don't know if it's gonna be next week
Nice.
or 2 weeks.
Ooh.
So,
What
okay,
was-
yeah, we'll see.
Leave them wanting more.
Yeah, leave them wanting more. Come listen to us again, please. Sorry. Okay. I guess we'll move on to the next segment. Rob, talk to us about the meta. What's it looking like?
What is the meta looking like? It is. It's interesting. Post Galactics. I mean, we have. I was actually at my locals last night. They were looking for you, Gil. They were missing you.
Yeah, I was Padawan Unlimited.
It was it was limited. It was just me. But it's interesting to see what's kind of starting to come out of post Galactics. So seeing obviously the return of Quinlan Tarkentown because that got popularized with Wu playing that. Yeah. I mean, it's still good. Like it was never bad. You never stop being good. It just fell out of favor, I think. But Boba Data Vault coming back around. with some interesting tech I've been seeing. I'm actually gonna try
Invisible
and give it a
hand
run.
tech, is that?
Invisible hand tech,
Yeah.
all the droids, baby. I think it's really. I think that one's actually very interesting
So
because
why does this?
you
What's the invisible hand droid? Just for the people who might not know, be in the
sure
know for
sure.
that.
So Invisible Hand is it's a 6 cost villainy command card, green card. Um, six stats that when played and when it completes an attack, you get to search the top 8 cards of your deck for a droid. If it costs 2 or less, you get to play it for free. And this deck in particular runs somewhere in the neighborhood of like I want to say it's like 12 or 15 droids. That you can pull from this.
Mm-hmm.
12 of which I believe you can are 2 cost or less. One of which is a 3 cost, but you can still pull it and then play it. So there's just a lot of action efficiency. You're playing a card and then you're getting another card on top of it, and a lot of these droid cards have an effect on them as well. So like you're running like the probe droid, it's like the new one from it's like DK something that kills a non-unique upgrade. You're running the OOM officer that is when it's defeated deals 2 damage to base. You're running the Vanguard, it's the Separatist Vanguard bomber that if you have another Separatist unit, which if you pulled it off of Invisible Hand, you do,
Yeah.
does 2 damage to base.
Okay.
So there's all these little kind of like quick interactions. And then of course it's banking on HK-47 just doing damage to your opponent when another unit dies, and he's just a 2 cost 2/4 on
Yeah.
top of it. So
Big butt.
there's just a lot of like little synergies around that. And then Boba loves all of that. Anything that does damage outside of combat action, he's like, cool, I'll ping you for another one. That you got to figure out where you're putting, and then it still just has the same top end that it did previously with Devastator and
Okay.
Ruthless Raider. So it's an interesting deck.
There's a lot of synergies that can be run with that deck, and it seems to pump out a lot of damage, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's got a lot of direct damage to kind of deal with some of the some of the other stuff that's in the meta right now. So I think it's, again, in general, I think it's still a very strong deck.
Yeah.
And then I saw my first sighting of Yoda Red Force. That is a very interesting deck. I got to see it get played, and it hurts.
Yeah, Yoda Red Force is definitely a good deck. It takes a lot of thought power,
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
it's a tough one.
but like if you can like kind of start to memorize those lines, like it plays really well, I think.
Yeah, I think that's one that you definitely need to be able to pilot well, because if you don't, you can lose really quickly as well with that
Yeah,
deck.
the thing that's very interesting about it, I think, more often than not, is you kind of just have like a built-in dirtle. Dirtling is just like you taking an action that doesn't necessarily do something, and forces your opponent to do something in response, so they're revealing more information. So you just get to look at the top card of your deck and decide whether you want it to stay there or go on the bottom of your deck. So you can use that advantageously on your turn to be like, I want to see what my opponent's going to do, and so I'll hold that. Like, there's going to be a point in time on your turn where you're just like, I'm going to hold that until I need to make my opponent make a play, and I'm going to use that to just delay, and then you get to react to whatever they do. And it in that deck in particular, because you're running a lot of blue removal, it can be very advantageous because you make your opponent like maybe drop something big, and then you're like, okay, well, I have the answer in my hand, I can get rid of it. And I made my opponent do something in order for me to be able to kind of take advantage of that. Then there's also the very obvious line of, you've got you're my only hope, which lets you play the top card of your deck for free if you're under a certain amount of health, and then if not, it's still severely reduced. It's like reduced by 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I saw used to great effect, where the player who's running this had Rivals Fall in hand. uses Yoda's ability, looks at the top of it, pulls You're My Only Hope, puts You're My Only Hope into hand, and then puts Rebels Fall on top, and then is able to then basically play Rivals Fall for 2, and still have. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So there's a lot of really interesting lines like that where it's just you have a really good toolbox. So this is going to be one with a very high skill cap, a la Han 1 yellow. But if you know how to run it, it's going to be a difficult deck to deal with.
Yeah, not a beginner deck, but if you can,
definitely not
figure it out, it's a killer. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. And then I saw my nemesis, which is Kylo 5 Data Vault. I hate that deck so much.
I do think control could be coming up a little bit because of how much mid-range is like prominent. Like based off of what I was hearing from the designers, it's like they want this game to be mid-range like centric. And so when you have a mid-range majority meta, then control is going to start coming back.
Yeah, and I think it is. I mean, Kylo is basically like even the Tarkin Town version of this is a control deck, right? Like it banks on you removing units up until the point where you're ready to flip Kylo, and then Kylo kills you in 2 actions.
Yeah.
So you're controlling the board until you get an advantageous flip on Kylo, and then Kylo just murders you.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
It does not.
All right.
I mean, obviously it's got counters, but it's
So, shameless plug. We did talk about. So we actually just did a recording for another podcast episode, a special episode for Community Spotlight with Dinosaur, who placed top 32, who was actually number 22 at the Galactic Championships. We did talk about the Kylo Data thing really briefly, but we have an interview with him, Community Spotlight, that will be released on Tuesday of next week. Look forward to that episode. It is very insightful. He's a great guy. Also, check out his content once you get there. You could find him on YouTube as Dinosaur. Well, we'll put the link in the description here as well, just so that we can start hyping it up, because it was a really fun conversation.
Sure. He's a great guy, and definitely go check him out.
And for someone who got to day 3 on almost the top 8, starting from day 1 without a bye, is crazy impressive to get when you think about it. So I think it's very important for this meta section. Let's talk about that.
And he even talks about a little bit, but there's like a mental load that doesn't start at Galactic. It starts well before, right? You're grinding to get there, then you're traveling to get there, then you're doing all the events, and then and so that's very impressive to make it that far. Because I was wondering, like, how far would a day 1 player get? Like that was something that was.
And you could do it, but not with Yoda Red Force.
Just be aggro, man.
Just be aggro. No, I was kidding. It's so funny. Oh gosh, Rob. So what are you on right now? What deck are you playing? Are you still doing Gar Yellow or?
I'm still on Gar Yellow. I may shift over to this Boba Data Vault just because I was playing
Boba before.
Yeah, I was on Boba before, so I just want to give this one a little bit of a test, and a little bit of run, because I do like the one thing that I particularly don't love about the Gar Saxon deck that I'm playing right now is that it has a really awful matchup into Vader 4. It's just I have to draw.
I mean, or it doesn't matter which version.
The yellow specifically, I think yellow is going to be the most prominent one of those. It's just it's a very I'm a very mid-range deck. It's faster than I am, so I have to be aggressively trading in space, and I need a very specific line to do that in the build that I've got. So in order for me to kind of be able to compete in that arena, I need to have a very specific turn 1 play, and it doesn't feel great. Yeah. It's like I actually played it a bunch last night in some pre event testing, basically, and it's like a 70-30 to Vader before I sideboard, and then even after it's still only like a 60-40. Yeah, so it's not a great matchup, and then even into things like harder control, even the Kylo. Again, this is the problem of playing mid range is you run into control, and control just kind of takes you out. So like the Kylo Tarkin Town, I'm okay with any 25 health base. I just have enough burst potential to take him down, but the 33 health base, like I could get him to 25 to 28, but getting to 33 was
nearly
just
impossible.
not happening. Yeah, it was just not happening.
Oh.
How about you, Corey? What are you on?
I'm still running Talisman Red. Tweaking it after Galactics. I was playing 52 cards at Galactics because I had 2 pillages in my main, but I'm taking them out, and I think I want to go a little more aggressive, but
Okay.
I'm not sure yet. So I added some of the tech from the winning deck, with the Hot Shot Blaster. I thought that was genius. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just don't have a good play at 5 because they either force throw you or pillage you or whatever, and so you don't have great plays or great options. And having something to smuggle out and just hit with your leader is really nice to do late there, or even later on in the game if you just need that reach where it's like, oh, I just need 2 extra. You have it. So
Yeah,
that was cool. I'm testing that out.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So everyone's all kind of sticking with your decks from Galactics, doing some tweaking.
Yeah.
So
What about you, Gil? Are you doing the same thing? Are you
No,
playing some pink?
no. I mean,
I've got out there.
Breaking out some open
hey,
tech now.
Ahsoka double blue.
Oh my
Let's
god,
go.
Ahsoka double blue. I am experimenting with some different stuff. Hopefully, I can take it out and take it for a ride at another store showdown and surprise people or a PQ, because I just like doing that. Anakin Cunning Force was fun. It is still fun, and I think it's a powerful deck that surprises people even now. I have some tweaks. Go on to the Patreon. I did do a write up on it. Where of my journey to the 5-3 at Galactic Championships. Again, I lost mostly because of my own misplays, not because I think the deck failed me. It's just me. I failed myself, and I will forever punish myself for failing.
No.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. But I am working on some other tech out there. I'm collecting the legendaries I need to do it, because I don't have playsets of every legendary out right now. But we'll see. We'll see. See what that spice looks like.
Keeping it close to the chest there.
Yeah, I'm like KTOD up in here. Like I want to know what you're playing, but I'm not gonna tell you what I'm playing.
He's got all that secret McClunky tech he doesn't want out.
I will never ever touch the team stuff, because like there are greater minds than myself, and I also don't want to have the conflict of interest in sharing, even accidentally sharing their stuff. So I'm always doing my own thing, because that's just like, no sense of impropriety. Keep the integrity of the game, you know what I'm saying? But I will see you guys. What's that?
Well, I just want to speak real quick. Speaking of 3 decks, which I felt was, we had the first ever trilogy tournament at Galactics, and nobody's talking about it at all. Like,
the funny thing is, I think we were
I didn't even know when it happened.
We were sitting next to the final. Gil, you and I were sitting next to the final at the end of day 2.
This is how little I was paying attention, because we did. We were.
Yeah, we were. We were.
That's funny. No, but it's kind of like unfortunate that they didn't really pump up or like bring up the other stuff. Like there's nothing on the Open, there's nothing on Trilogy or Twin Suns.
They still need to work on Twin Suns, which, by the way, freaking I love that format. I've played it at the Galactic Championships. We're gonna do a podcast episode with a series, not a series, but like we're gonna talk about Twin Suns in the future.
Yeah.
There's a podcast like topic submission on our Discord, so if you ever want to hear about a different topic, feel free to share there. But Twin Suns is freaking awesome. I love it.
You're gonna make me play Twin Suns.
I am gonna make you guys play Twin Suns, and then we'll play Trilogy. But we need to we need to work our way up to the new Trilogy format. And I think Twin Suns is a good segue into, which, by the way, but Boba Fett, pilot, and Cad Bane leader, like those 2 leaders,
Red yellow is a good combo.
Good
And just
combo.
whatever aspect else you want.
Yeah, whatever else
Yeah.
aspect you want, man. It's just good. Ping, ping, ping all day
Yeah.
long. Okay.
Pingity ping ping.
Before we move on to the main topic, got any last thoughts, Rob?
I don't know. We can. I'll put it this way. Listen to the very special episode where we learn something important about our lives and take it forward, and the more you know. But really, we talk a little bit about at the very end about upcoming thoughts on set 6. And what we can expect. We'll probably go into this a little bit more as we get closer to set 6, but very, very early impressions. I think there's some interesting mechanics coming up that I'm sure everyone knows about this point that I think are going to be very, very impactful.
And you're talking about the episode with our special community spotlight video with
Dinosaur.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Rob. So let's move on to the last segment. I say a lot. I really got to work on that. The main topic today is reading your opponent, and how can you pick up on some cues? How can you perform better with not just the cards in your hand? How can you read the table, read the room, perceive things in certain ways that can be beneficial to yourself, especially in gameplay. So I'll start first. There's a lot of different. I'm not going to talk about some holistic view. I'm just going to do I'm going to go right into it. I think one of the things you should always try to pay attention to is when people are tapping their resources. We've mentioned this in the past. I want to re-mention this again. Some people, when they tap their resources, literally flip the cards up to face you. So if this is the resource, a resource is face down, and they'll tap it, they'll flip it up, and you could see what's underneath. And when you see
the legendary kill card.
Oh my god. Yeah. So when you see what's I would always pay attention to that because that's free information. They don't have to show that to you. It's secret information. So if you see that, then you could start potentially thinking, okay, if I see a smuggle card, I know what's there, like a hot shot. If you see a waylay, that you know you're safe against a waylay, things like that. I would pay attention to the board state in that sense in order to derive information that may help you in your decision making. I think that's one tip. Who wants to go next?
You had something, Rob?
Yeah, I got something. So this is more specific, or I have a very specific example, but it'll kind of lead into a kind of a more general topic of things that you can do, and I'll call it kind of like bluffing, for lack of a better way to describe it. So last night I was testing Gar Saxon into the Vader 4 matchup that I mentioned earlier, and one of the things that came up was on the Vader flip turn on turn 6. One of the things that Vader is very, very scared of is a confiscate. So it's a 1-cost card that just removes an upgrade, and it can remove a leader upgrade, and killing off Vader with 1 cost feels really, really good. Now my deck doesn't run confiscate. However, I was in a position where I had 1 resource showing available to me, and I was out of actions. One of the things that I hadn't really thought about at the time, but now kind of thinking about it, looking back, is knowing what your opponent's afraid of. So in this case, Vader's afraid of confiscate on his flip turn. So I'm showing 1 resource, and my opponent doesn't necessarily know that I don't have confiscate either in hand or even in my deck. And I can use that to bluff to try and get into an advantageous situation. So, they take an action. I don't have anything to play at this point. I can just pass because I'm implying that I have a use for that 1 resource, and I could use that to potentially get my opponent to maybe flip Vader to the ground where I want to see him. I don't want to see him in space. So always keeping in mind what the things that your opponent may be afraid of, and even if you don't have it, using it, playing like you do, or playing like you do to your advantage.
Yeah. On the flip side to that, actually, is sometimes people organize their resources based off of what they can play. And it's all right, I'm going to put 3 resources here, 4 resources here, because I have a 3 and a 4. And it's are they doing that because they're actually going to play these 2 costed cards? And so sometimes I'll see that from people where they'll like separate their resources to based off of what they're planning on playing that turn. And I'm thinking to
Yeah.
myself, all right, well, they're kind of getting ready to play a two-costed thing or a four-costed thing just based off of how they're organizing themselves. So seeing that and looking for those consistencies or inconsistencies in some cases, but seeing if that's something that someone does over and over again can help give you information on what type of card you can expect to see on their turn.
Which I'll add to yours, Corey. People count their resources, like physically, like
Yeah.
will point to the cards that like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
6, like, and they're like, and they're not counting like if you, especially when they stop before the resource row is done, like they'll count like 6, they'll count like 7, they'll count like 3,
Okay.
right? Like
Yep.
pay attention to that because you're like, okay, so they're gonna play a 3 drop or they have a 4 drop in hand that they can play, or a 5 or 7, like especially when it comes to, like the Lukes and stuff, like like the end game, like if they're counting, it's because they have that combination in hand, right? So that's one of those things that I would pay attention, like adds to what you're saying, Corey. Like if you
Right,
can get the pack where they're separating it into piles and then they're also counting, like like it's just like, okay, what's the answer here? What potential answers could they have here? I think that's also one very key thing to just keep in mind.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. How about you, Rob?
I
Anything
mean,
else?
one of it's again, it'll come back to I know we've had kind of YouTube talked about resources, but the other thing to kind of look at is sometimes when players are thinking out their turn, like on their turn, they may tap a certain number of resources. They may initially be
That's
like,
what
no, I'm
Phil
not
was
going to do,
saying.
yeah, I'm not going to do that. So keep an eye on that, because sometimes that'll give you, it's not even like seeing the information on the other side. I'm literally saying like, they'll be like, okay, I'm going to do 4. And then you're like, actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do 2. So it's like, they might have had that.
Yeah.
That again, those costed things there. That's one that I see.
Which another thing with resources is that with smuggle and probably plot as well, right? People are gonna gravitate their cards to the edges, right? So like it's because they want to be able to pick up the smuggle card and play it right away, right? I think a smart player knows to just shuffle it in there, or like they'll keep shuffling their resources, but some people don't. Like it's very clear, like this is where they look at the same side every time. Like this is where my smuggle cards are or whatever. This is really good, especially if you're playing cards like Scanning Officer, which destroys smuggle cards.
Up in a row, yeah.
In a row. So like think about that. Like those idiosyncrasies or those habits. Like people do telegraph certain things and where it is in their.
Well, the other thing to think about, because when Shadows came out, that was a whole new thing people had to get used to. And people were constantly looking at their resources. Like, do I have a smuggle in there? Do I not? Like, you didn't have to think about that before. And as sets kind of went on, you didn't really think about that much because it just started playing. But people, if they have smuggle cards, will look at their resources. If they don't have smuggle cards, you don't see them looking at them ever, right? So it's like, well, if they're not looking at their resources, they probably don't have smuggle in there. That's
or you're bluffing and you may not have the smuggle cards in there, and you look at your resource row. I definitely see players do that as well, where they'll just look at the resource row because reasons, and it's to try and throw off your opponent.
And that, yeah, exactly. I think it's advantageous for you to constantly look in case, because there's a lot of smuggle cards that are pretty playable in all aspects. So
yellow particular.
Another thing that people do, or that you should take advantage of, remember this, is that like you can look at their discard pile. Like you could be like, can I look at your discard pile? You can literally sift through all those cards and do the calculations based on your estimations. Like, okay, they've already used 3 force throws. I don't have to fear that card at all anymore. You know what I mean? Or like they've used XYZ, or they haven't used this, or like this is the mixture of cards. Like you can still take notes on that if you so desire. And it helps you understand, okay, what is their priority? Because also you have to think about the pile. Like if you know what you defeated, then you also see what they discarded, right? So like you could rearrange, like you could kind of go back and think of, oh, they had this here, they had this one, I had this, they had this one, I had this. So like you can almost kind of do a play-by-play, especially in between games, right? Of like before you like just see the discard pile, and you could like almost kind of recreate certain stuff. So one thing's like, again, it's open information. Don't forget that. And a lot of people can telegraph. Like if someone's trying to bluff out the confiscate thing, right? Check their discard pile. Do they have confiscates already in there? You know, like you don't know. Just make sure. Just always double check. I think.
That's
So
always good. Yeah, we definitely talked a lot about resources and stuff like that. Because this game is really resources, and what you resource is so important. And
Yep.
so a lot of times people will look at their hand and they'll put something down, but then they'll pick it up, and then they'll put something else down, and they'll pick it up. It's like they're constantly switching out different cards to think about what decisions and what's optimal for them. So if someone's doing that a lot, uh, they're very indecisive, most likely, and they're not necessarily. They're trying to have the best play for the opportunity. What you want to try to do is think about what the best move for them is, but if like to help you figure out what your best move is, right? So like what's going to hurt me the most that they do. But a lot of times people just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And if that's the case for me, I smell weakness. It's like, all right, I don't think they're going to be playing optimally at this point because they're so indecisive on what they're doing there. I'm going to try to be more aggressive in that point.
I think that's fair. Yeah. It's one of those things you can always kind of sense when someone's on the back foot, and you just need to like keep putting the pressure on, right? Like just keep putting the pressure on. Don't say anything rude. Just be like, I've been there, man. You know what I mean? Like you can,
We certainly have
you
absolutely.
can
We've
totally.
definitely
People
been
get
there.
tilted. People just let opponents gonna get tilted by themselves. Let them just keep getting tilted by themselves. Don't antagonize people, and just be like, if you see putting pressure on them is getting them to like, in terms of like putting damage on the board is getting them anxious. Feel free to keep doing that because they're gonna start slipping up. I've seen it happen. Literally, at the Galactic Champions, someone was like, "Oh, like I forgot you don't deploy here." He was so stressed out about all the cards all the damage that I was putting on his base, he just forgot about certain things that my cards did. Like he's like, "Oh, Anakin deploys on 7,
5, right?
He thought 7. Just like I thought I had a turn. I'm
Oh,
like, no.
7.
It's like, sorry, dude. I what am I gonna do? You know, like it's
Not flipped my leader.
yeah, So I don't know. Reading opponent is interesting. It's not like poker. Like there's all these other components that you need to like consider. I've always, you know what else? Sometimes I even I try to see at people's glasses. Like, do my glasses reflect the cards? Because there's been
So
some card games where you can see like the
Yeah.
colors, like in like reflected onto something. So you're like, oh, they have a red card here, or they have like a green card here, or a yellow card here. Like that's actually a thing. So it helps
Gotta
predict.
be careful of that, man.
Yeah, you definitely
You're
got
wearing
to.
glasses.
Yeah.
Get better eyesight, bro.
Oh my god.
We all
Get that
have
LASIK
glasses.
surgery.
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
Competitive disadvantage.
Yeah. What other do you think there's anything else in terms of like that could help someone as they're trying to just get their footing in the competitive scene, or just like playing playing games that like maybe not necessarily reading an opponent, but just like help them? It's a tough question.
I mean, I think just in general, like understanding people's body languages, like, or you don't have to understand it completely, but taking cues from what people are doing. You talked about it a little bit earlier, Gil. If you see people getting stressed over certain things, but you're looking for like the cues in terms of how they're reacting, like whether it's big size or like they get shaky hands, things like that, like those little things that aren't specific to just card games. It's just understanding like what how humans react to stress and things like that. Those always be things.
That's a great point, because like you have a situation where you have to pull a card and then you don't pull it and you audibly sigh, or you or you slump your shoulders or whatever. That's telling your opponent you didn't get it, and then they're just gonna be like, all right, they didn't get it, I'm good to go. And
Yeah.
so
You gotta be
being conscious of straight face, like poker face, right? You don't want to give your opponent information by reacting to what you pull. It's like, oh man, I really need that confiscate, but here I am pulling Avenger and Devastator, and that doesn't help me at all right now. So what am I gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing that I did learn is that, or you should know this in, I guess, pretty much any competition, no one has your best interest at heart aside from yourself. Like they have no opponent has an incentive to help you, right? So like don't trust what they say necessarily. Take it with a grain of salt, and if you need to verify. I mean, there's been times where like I mean I've done this just to mess with people. I'm like, oh, I think you got it, and then and then they'll be like,
oh no,
no,
give them false hope.
yeah, false hope. I've done it once or twice just to see what happens. Usually, and it's good. They never fall for it, which is great. You should always check. Always check, like double check. There's always a pathway. There's a pathway to victory. You need to just find it, right? There's a way to get rich right now. But what is it? And I think that's one of those things like never give up, never surrender kind of deal, because you could potentially scoop your way out. You could potentially scoop your way out of a problem by continuing playing. There's been so many games where I've just been like, wow, I have like no board state. They have 3 units on board, and then all of a sudden, like I swap it that same turn because of a certain card combination that I just thought of. I top deck something. I had something in the smuggle row. I was able to just like completely change the entire board state. There is a pathway to victory. Something like we talked about, like the Yoda Red stuff. That's one of those places where like you have a lot of maneuverability in there because you don't have a card, swap it for the top of your deck, or even with Kylo, swap with the top of your deck. You have a smuggle card. Like you could do all of these things, potentially to find a way out. So
yeah, it's little things like that though. Like I've been even finding out those small lines in like my Gar Saxon deck, right? It's like it doesn't sound like it's that impactful, but like for example, I have Inferno 4 in my deck. That's like my two drop ship, right? It lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You put one on the top, one on the bottom. Well, if you play that later and you're smuggling a card, you know what card is about to go into your resource row because you've put it there. So just like those little things to kind of think about, like those little lines that you're like, oh, I looked at my top 2 cards. One of them has smuggle on it. I'm just going to put that back because I'm about to play a Hotshot Blaster, and that Hotshot's going to go out into the board, and then the card that has smuggle is going to go into my resource row, and now it's another resource that's available to me, as opposed to I then draw it and have to put it in my resource row. Now it just goes directly there.
Which, by the way, Inferno 4, like the top bottom like thing where you can like put cards. If an opponent is putting their cards back on top, find a way to mess with that. Like if you can, like don't, if they're putting it to the bottom, try not to have them draw cards like again. You know what I mean? Like you don't, how do I phrase this? You don't want to help them filter through their deck. So if they like just drew the Inferno 4 and then they put both cards back on the top, if you can't kill it that turn, wait until they do that again, you know, or something like that. That way you can defeat the cards. Like they're not gaining any benefit from it, right? You have to think about things like that when people are playing like cards to put either top or bottom. Like how can you optimize your play to sub-optimize theirs, right? This is kind of like
vice versa. Like be aware of that, right? Because like that's happened to me where I played Sabine for a while and I played a 4 cause and I was like, all right, I'm going to keep these 2 cards, put them on top of my deck. Me thinking it didn't matter which ones were top and bottom. My opponent plays Kanan and makes me discard the top card of my deck that I really wanted that card. I was like, oh shoot, I should have put that card on the bottom instead of the.
Yep.
So it's like those little things that you're not thinking about can definitely mess you up.
Sometimes it's better to put the card you want second on the pile.
Yeah.
Like, that's true. That burns. Kanan, man. Oh, you're so right. So many weird cards just get burned, like just because, or I accidentally smuggle. Like I put the cards back on top and then I smuggle it. I'm like, oh, so if you can force an opponent to do that, like that's great too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But like it's like those little things, and like I know we're talking about sort of reading your opponent, but like it's also just those little things, those little that doesn't seem like they're big impactful plays, but they're things that really good players are going to be thinking about, and it's squeezing every ounce of efficiency out of your deck, right? So like being able to know that, hey, when I'm able to scry a card and I know I'm going to be able to put something into my resource row, make sure that the card that I'm putting on top is something that I want to see going into my resource row. You know, if I'm scrying and I'm like, man, I really don't want either of these cards, but I know I'm going to smuggle and I want to see the next two cards. Well, I don't want to potentially lose what those next two could potentially be. I don't know, but you know, I'm hoping to draw into a solution. Then you know, those are like little things to think about in terms of like overall gameplay that'll get you better at what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, be like me and just still be terrible at the game. It's fine.
Oh my god, so funny. Oh well, let's end with that. All right, everybody. It is late in the night. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time this evening. As always, great conversation. Anyone else is out there? If you made it to the end, bazinga! Thank you so much. No, please like, subscribe, tell your friends. Fill out the form for raffle form for a Galactic Championship pin, right? VIP pin, black pin. Go back to episode 59 to get the Poe Dameron showcase given to us from Tetra from the Bothan Network. We have a lot more stuff going on in the future. Again, try to tell your friends. We're trying to get to 500 subs so that we can give. I just want to. It's too much. It's using up too much space in my closet. I need to get rid of this 2024 convention pack. You know, okay, or else I'm just gonna sell it. I don't want to just sell.
Burning a hole in his pocket, guys.
Yeah. Help us out. Help us help you.
Help us help you.
Help you make space in his house.
Yeah, help give me. I have
He
too
lives
much
in a pile
cards.
of cardboard.
Oh my god. Yeah, so much cardboard.
And check out the spotlight that we do with the dinosaur.
Yes, and most importantly, check out the community spotlight episode with Dinosaur, which will be on this coming Tuesday. Expect that video to drop. And until with that,
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll learn.
It is a very emotional call. I mean, I was surprised that I that I shed a tear with him. All right, I gotta stop. We're just vamping now. All right. Until next time, may the force be with you.